Hey viewers, negative automotive Seth Rogen here, as some people have put in the comments. Just kidding. That's funny. Whatever, appreciate it. So, interesting thing, I joined TikTok there recently and I'm blowing up. And for every comment I get on YouTube, I get like a few dozen more on TikTok. And I thought the automotive industry was bad. Now I'm thinking it's extremely bad. I may have underestimated how bad the industry is. You can swing over to my TikTok and see the more popular videos. I got hundreds and hundreds of technicians replying to them, from wages to times they're paid to the amount of BS they're dealing with in the industry. And again, I severely underestimated it. I knew it was bad, but I think it was this bad. Maybe we should get to the point of this video. Is the automotive industry on the brink of collapse? Ooh, that's a tough subject. I don't know what people are going to think in the comments. I think it's close. I don't think it's going to completely fail, at least on the repair side of it. Like, I'm not saying manufacturers are going to go belly up. I just think the average Joe is going to have nowhere to go to repair their car. And the people who do stay around, you're going to be waiting months. I hear horror stories of people already waiting months to get into the dealership, especially when you have things like that GM recall, the 6.2, which is just tying up every hoist. And then there's a back order of them, so what do you do? So the wait time's ridiculous. There's some people in rentals right now and they have no ETA on when they're going to get their vehicle back or if it's even going to be fixed this year. It's the way things are going. So going over to the TikTok thing again, my goodness, again, like I said, I severely underestimated how bad it was. I got lots of people messaging me on TikTok saying everything resonates with them. Again, same thing with YouTube. It just seems like more people have access to TikTok, so I'm seeing more of it now. It's kind of overwhelming when I think about it. And everybody says I'm so negative, but you know what? Saying the truth has never really been negative for me. Like, everybody's like, oh, you must have been a hard person to work with. I'm like, I don't think so. I'm pretty easygoing when it comes to work. I just have a zero tolerance for BS. I wish I spoken up more in my career when I was in automotive. I probably wouldn't have had a job as long. There is a fine balance with that. The people who speak up are generally axed pretty quickly in automotive. I don't feel like that in heavy equipment. I'm pretty steady going, consistent. Not as stressed anymore. Okay, and now back to the comments. Yeah, check out the TikTok because, and it's young people. So what's the trend happening right now? Nobody's really staying in the industry past 3 or 4 years. The ones who do, you're miserable. Don't lie. And the ones defending it, generally you're buddy-buddy with the service advisor, or you have some weird in, or you found a loop in the system and you're too afraid to lose it and you're willing to defend it to the last bitter end. Whatever. That's you. You'll wake up one day and realize it wasn't worth it. So the trend right now is they're getting all these young people who are eager to work, rose-tinted goggles when they get hired. They stay on the lube rack for infinite amount of time because oil changes in their mind are lost leaders, but they created this situation by having a different labor rate for oil changes and tire services, and then this and that. They have to pay someone who's not a senior technician to do these jobs, and they're missing out on all this other stuff. But the automotive industry did it to itself. They screwed over the technician and now they're paying for it. So now you have these low-wage individuals who are being run through the system, and let's say they do survive the lube rack, as we call it in the industry. People who don't know, that's where you put somebody to prove them, see if they're able to handle it, and it doesn't really happen like that. They're just stuck there for years on end, hoping to get thrown a bone and work with a senior technician and learn. It just doesn't happen that way. So on the magic, or on the real side, let's say they do somehow make it to the other side, they may be throwing gravy, and this is going to sound insane. So what happens is when they're throwing gravy work, which isn't warranty, it could be 50-50, the mechanics around them get a little bit, how can you say, jealous? Let's be honest. When a mechanic is 8 hours into a floor harness or a sunroof that's warranty pay, and they watch an apprentice pulling brake job after brake job after brake job, or even tires. I consider tires gravy. It pays quite a good amount to mount and balance them. And you get an alignment afterwards, hopefully. You start to go like, well, what the hell? So on paper, it's cheaper to pay that young guy 15 bucks. I'm just using generic numbers here. Don't write me in the comments. 15 bucks an hour compared to, let's say, the senior tech at 36. So now they just made another $20 or whatever, $30 on that job itself. That's the way it goes. And that's what's happening in the industry is they're getting all these young people in and they're just using them and using them and using them and burning them out. And these young people aren't staying in the industry. And now you have an aging mechanic base here. And I don't know, the ones I know are all starting to hit mid-50s. So in another 5 years, who knows? You're going to have a lot of mechanics who are, you know, ready to retire. If they can retire, that's a whole other subject. Most mechanics can't retire. They're going to be doing this till the day they die. Which is another horrible thing in the industry is no pension. This is your retirement fund right here. Let that sink in. As I said in previous videos, mechanics don't go on vacations. They can pay for 2 vacations a year if they didn't buy tools, and it never stops. You never stop buying tools. And the cost of tools have gone through the roof right now. It's way more than when I was on the bench, so I don't know how these apprentices are doing it. So everything is going to come to a culmination where something's got to give. And it's usually the mechanics. The entire industry is built on the back of mechanics. And, you know, what can I say? I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but I feel like the next 5 years are really going to test the industry. You're going to see a lot of private garages pop up, but that doesn't mean things are going to get better. There's going to be a lot more hacks out there. All these YouTube videos, YouTube algorithm and the YouTube, how can you say it, the viewer base really loves these sob stories where garage A, B, or C couldn't fix it, or the dealership couldn't fix it, and they're usually pretty biased. But on the flip side, when they aren't, it's usually because you have a young technician with no experience. He wants to work, he wants to try, he wants to do all this stuff, and the system right now is all about numbers and not quality. And they'll say they want good technicians, they want young, bright people. It's not the truth. They want numbers. Right now, as you can see in society, all these CEOs, CFOs, they're all being made huge amounts of money. It's because they're crunching numbers and they're cutting out the experienced people and they're going for these low-hanging fruits where they generate the numbers and they're willing to put up with all the comebacks and the publicity and the negativity because at the end of the day, they're still extremely profitable. Look at Stellantis. Like, there's nothing left of that company and people are still buying their junk. I own a Gladiator, so go figure. But it's never going to end. There's always going to be somebody to fill in that spot, and there's always going to be somebody who's going to buy that crappy vehicle. So think what you think. I know it's kind of all over the place with my videos. I don't normally do that, so yeah, just kind of rambling on. So yeah, post what you think. I feel like 5 years, the tipping point's gone. For the general public, sorry, I know I'm ranting again, you cannot replace over 600,000 mechanics in all these industries in the next 5 years. It's impossible. Automotive, heavy duty, truck and coach, diesel as you want to call it, you're either good at it or you're not. You either have the aptitude to get through the industry or you don't. You can fire 30 kids into a classroom, one might make it in the industry. And even then it's iffy. So to put 600,000 mechanics back into the industry, you'd probably have to go through, oh my goodness, almost 24 million students. And then what happens? The industry's oversaturated with job applicants and it lowers the wages and then you go back into the same thing. There's got to be better ways to get through it. You see governments throwing money at colleges. That's not the answer. I know ours, I made a video a while ago. They're trying to inject 700 million into the colleges. Colleges are a business. I could do a whole other video on that. They're not, it's like the government giving money to a private corporation to help. No, it just, it's complicated. It doesn't work. Trust me, the money doesn't go where it needs to go. I've seen it. So yeah, post in the comments what you think. I know this is one of my shorter videos. See how it goes. Lance Mechanics. Oh, if you're new to the channel, like and subscribe. Check out the TikTok. I'm blown away by the comments there. I got over 3,000 comments in a month. I can't keep up with it, especially with the 1,500 or so comments a month on YouTube. Something about my channel just resonates with people. For every 100 people like it, I do piss off one person. Yeah, whatever. Go fly a kite. Anyways, Lance Mechanics, have a good one.